to square it back to Prespakis for her first goal as a Bomber. And as she so often has, secures victory. Something to celebrate for Essendon in their 150th year. The Bombers with their first AFLW win.
Wales, about 45. Lets it go right to the line, and it is all the way home.
Hello, we are back in the saddle for our third season. Thank you so much for joining us once again. This is the Sash Women's, most definitely not the official podcast of the Essendon Football Club women's side. As always, I'm Courtney, back once again. I'm joined here by Ari and Geordie, and you might be missing a bit of an energy in the room tonight. Dan is sadly not with us this season.
No.
I know. There's going to be some, I don't know what we're going to do. There's some real, expertise that has walked out the door.
Yeah,
but she has left us with some real treats before she hung up the headphones, which we'll get to a little bit later. But hey, hi. Welcome back.
Good to
It's
be
been
here.
a fucking long time. How have we been? George, you've been in Japan?
Yeah, nice little off-season trip.
Yeah.
Got to expand the horizons a touch,
Nice.
eat some ramen. Oh, it was all pretty good. And the benefit was I got to skip 5 weeks of Essendon AFL men's football. So
Oh, good.
cherry on top of the cake there.
Was it before or after we were in the top 8?
It was as we were
Sliding.
very
Slide down.
shooting
You
down,
saw
yeah.
the signs and you were like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I watched the second half of the Geelong game in Tokyo and thought, I don't think I need to tune in for the next couple of weeks while I'm here. I'll leave that be.
I can see what's happening
Yeah.
here.
You're like, yeah, I know this. I know this playbook.
All too familiar.
Yeah,
What
so-
was the, I wouldn't say the weirdest, but like what was the most adventurous thing that you ate in Japan?
Oh, adventurous. I would say I'm not much. It's going to sound very tame to a lot of us.
That's all right.
I'm not much of a fish guy.
Okay.
But we did obviously indulge in some sashimi and things like
Yeah.
that, which isn't
It's
quite
like-
my
but
forte,
it's like,
but
it's so fresh over there. It just
It
tastes
is,
like the
yeah.
ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a friend of mine has just went over to Japan as well, obviously because the yen is so good. But she was eating like horse meat and stuff, but she's also like a foodie. Like she will eat.
I didn't know
real
that was a
weird
thing
stuff.
in Japan.
Yeah.
I thought it was a French thing.
No.
I did that once. Never doing that again.
I've eaten a horse in Amsterdam, but
Yeah. Was it that horse or the other horse?
same horse.
Oh,
I love
okay.
it. It's the same horse. Yeah.
And what about you, Ari? What have you been up to?
Not so much. Moved. New
Moved?
car. Yeah.
Where'd you go? Don't
So,
want to dox yourself, but you know.
No. So I'm in Ripponley, which I feel is like one of those black hole suburbs where if you don't live on that side of town, you have no idea where
Yeah,
it is. Like,
the only attachment I have to that is the ABC offices used to
yes,
be in
I live
Ripponley
exactly opposite there.
and are not there anymore,
Yeah, they're
which
not
I'm
there
very
anymore.
thankful
Yeah.
about.
But it's like I always found when I started hanging out on the north side of town, there was all these suburbs where, like, obviously if you live around here, you know exactly. Like, I'd never heard of Westgarth before, and you had no
yeah.
idea where that was.
Yeah, it's
so I
kind
feel
of
like-
a suburb.
Yeah, I feel like Ripponley is one of those. But and I was in the UK for a bit.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, which
What
is
were you doing
great.
over there?
My brother lives there, so I was
Oh,
over visiting
love.
him and my niece and nephews, which was great. And then a couple of days in Germany, but yeah,
Jeez,
about it.
bloody tripping all over
Yeah.
the place.
Well, you've got your own trip coming up.
I do. I will be in Korea for like 2 weeks, so I'll be missing the first 3 weeks of the season.
Good timing. good
Great timing. Great timing by me. But it is my little bit of a post-season for the Westies. We bottomed out on the Div 4 ladder this year. Love that.
Premier's
that's all
last
right.
year, though.
Yeah.
Premier's last year.
So a bit of a
It's,
Collingwood
you know,
hangover kind of
yeah.
thing.
I mean, we wear the same
Yeah,
kit,
I was
so it
gonna
makes
say.
sense. Me and Darcy Moore can look at each other and be like, yeah, brother.
How you feel? Yeah.
Again, he's copying exactly what I'm doing. So I'll be doing that, and not much else has been going on, really.
Footy trip in Korea. That is.
Oh, it's just me.
It's just you.
the rest of the club's not coming. They've got their finals and stuff to do. I'm just taking myself on a holiday. So yeah, the next couple of weeks we'll hopefully be hearing a little bit from Dan, that empty chair next to us. But yeah, there's been quite a lot happening. I mean, it's obviously such a long off season.
Yeah, Jesus.
And so much happens when that is so long. When you're not, frustrated at the men's. I feel like I moved my stock this year probably about maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think it was, which game was it? The one after Freo.
Yes. No, yeah, that was it for me as well.
Yeah, when I lost.
So I
all
went to that Freo
hope.
game.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh no.
yeah. This just isn't going to happen, is it?
No. Oh, well.
And it's so funny because when we're still live, I'm on the AFL app and I'm looking at all the news, and then suddenly I find myself on the AFLW page a lot more often.
And you're like, oh, what's going on over
Yeah.
here? Well, we have had quite a few team changes this year. Obviously, quite a few outs after last season. So we've had a couple of retirements in Danny Marshall and Kat Phillips. And then Jess Wishner also retired, but she's now coaching the Tassie Devils.
So cool.
So she's gone back home. So she's really getting on board. Did we all buy foundation membership, $10 foundation
Sticky
memberships?
here
with it?
somewhere.
Oh, yes, there it
Yeah.
is. Very good. Did you get one, Ari?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
still-
feel like we
still
talked
going.
about this last year.
Yeah. No, I've been a member since we started.
Since the
Yeah,
start,
since the
yeah.
start,
I think
yeah.
there's like well over 100,000 or maybe close to 200,000 foundation members, which is
So cool.
fantastic.
I'm assuming that 80,000 of those are Bombers fans who want to support a team that can't lose.
Yeah. yeah. They can't lose because
Yeah.
they're not in the system
Exactly.
yet. So
It's
that's
gonna
great.
be the best 2 years of fanship you'll ever occur.
So Jess is down there working with the women's program, which is fantastic. And then we had Leah Cutting and Joanne Doonan not offered contracts. And then Alana Barber and Renee Tierney both delisted and both went to North Melbourne
Successfully.
successfully. Alana Barber following the Fetty Fru route of going to a side in the VFLW that then becomes the Premiers, and getting Team of the Year with the VFLW as well. So that's great. I think it's like nice to have that kind of disappointment from one club and then immediately going into success with another club.
Yeah, she was pretty stiff as well. Because if you remember, towards the end of the second half of last season, she was really making it happen. Oh, that was the most surprising. I mean, obviously, apart from the retirees of the delistings, I thought once she got in the team last season, I thought she was really good, especially that Richmond game that we were at.
Yeah.
She was great. So, yeah, hopefully she eventually gets her way back onto a list again, because I think she's got it.
Yeah.
She's got plenty of years left too, I think.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah,
Oh,
she's still
100%.
quite young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Essendon's real good at stiff delistings, but let's not talk about that. I'm sure if you've listened to the men's Sash pod this week, you'll know all about the men's delistings, which I'm so filthy about. But good news, we've had a few ins. Obviously, we had our draft pickups, which we'll talk about in a sec. But coming over in the trades, we've got Madison Gay. She's 27, has played 7 seasons in the AFLW and has about 54 games under her belt. Played for both Carlton and Melbourne, so 2 of those teams that have been in the program for a while, which is great. A bit of depth in there. And she had that premiership with the D's in season 2022 part 2.
Yeah.
But she's a really good midfielder that can kind of play, is a bit of a utility, plays right across the ground and particularly in the back line, which I think, is good for
Yeah,
us. I
she's-
think we'll need that.
Yeah,
A bit of
definitely.
depth in that back.
Yeah, we need someone that can move around a bit, but she's also incredibly hard, incredibly tough.
Yeah.
And a leader as well,
That's
as we'll talk
good.
about later. But, we that's one thing we've almost missed from the beginning is someone to sort of be in there with Maddie,
Yeah.
to really get in and under. And I think she'll probably do that really well.
Her
Yeah.
tackle numbers have been incredible for the
Yeah.
last X amount of years as well.
That's
Goes
good.
really hard at it, and she'll really sort of jigsaw nicely with Nan Scorn and
Yeah,
Farkas, who also are that kind of crash
Yeah,
and bash.
absolutely. And also a
killer
childhood
girl.
bomber.
Yes.
I feel like
Press
everyone in our
Barkers.
team is just
I know, we love that.
Yeah,
but
it is
it
good.
means that, there's a loyalty there and it's like you'll do whatever you can for success.
Yeah.
Because, you want to bring that, not respect, but yeah.
You wanna make it happen
Yeah,
for
you
the
want to make
club,
it happen for the team that you love and you have loved for a long time. And she was part of that crazy 11 club trade.
That was
which
nuts.
I'd totally forgotten about
Yeah.
until we were looking this up.
That was so crazy.
Oh my god!
Can you
What was
imagine
her
something like
movement
that?
in that? I can't even remember how that puzzle worked.
All I know is I don't know how it's all working, but I know that we gave away, I think it was a 3rd pick
Yeah,
Actually, no, that's for best, wasn't it? The third pick and the fourth
Mm.
pick.
It was a higher pick than that. I think it was the second
Second pick.
maybe, yeah. But yeah, that was crazy. I've never seen anything that complicated. It took so long to figure out who got what. And
Yeah.
I think we actually did really well out of it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, let's have a chat about Elizabeth Keeney, or Bess from the Goldie. She's been up there playing 4 seasons up in that sticky heat. But she requested a trade to Essendon.
Yeah, there was some noted in the article that I read that there was some family issues at play. Whether she wants to get back to her family or
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
No point speculating, but yeah, it's nice to see that someone actually wants to come and play
That's
for us.
nice.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
Again, she's an attacking halfback, really crafty and creative with her skills. So it'll be great to see her in the red and black and see what she can do for us.
She's a really good user. And we kind of missed that a little bit. I think we've got a lot of like really good runners out of the back line, but we
yeah.
kind of need someone that's just got really nice skills. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably her. And
Yeah,
also
great.
a leader as well.
Oh, fantastic. And then we also picked up Brooke Sheridan. She's a 19-year-old coming from that Brisbane Lions Academy background. She moved to Melbourne to play with North in the VFLW, so at least we've got someone back from that. But she's a natural forward, but she has played down back as well. So she's a replacement for Kat Phillips, who retired quite late in the game. So, yeah, good little utility. You know, I have also this season been playing both forward and fullback, which has been very interesting. Finding my new place in the back line, which has been great. But yeah, that's really, really, really handy to have, especially if we need another body at either end of the ground.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. You know, you never know with these things. I don't know how much we'll see her play. I think she's probably going to be one of those like breaking case of emergency kind of players.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, good to have some depth and also with some experience. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And then with our draft picks and pre-signs, we've got Chloe Adams. She was our 38th draft pickup. She's a midfielder with a bit of natural leadership talent and great defensiveness. So, yeah, she loves to play in and under with anger and grit, which is, I think, especially in their mids, you know, her playing with Nanscorn, and probably will learn a lot from Nanscorn as well. It sounds like a very similar kind of gameplay.
Yeah. Again, one of those I doubt we'll see much of her this year. She's quite slight, quite small, but definitely a pick for the future. Like she's got all the attributes, but
Yeah.
she probably needs a couple of pre-seasons.
A bit of finesse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important to note that she plays with a helmet on as well, which I think guarantees her to be a good player.
Yeah.
I've never seen a player play.
They got that dog
badly.
in them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Angus Brayshaw, Brent Daniels, all Jets.
And
I'm
we
sure
don't have
she'll follow
anyone
suit.
in a helmet, men's or women's, that I
No.
can think of. No. So that's
Can't,
quite, quite nice.
mess up the hair.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Dylan Shield in a helmet? Come on. And back in the draft, we also picked up Emily Goff at pick number 20. She's 18 years old and 180 centimetres, so a bit of tall timber. She's key forward, but could develop in another position. She has played right across the ground, basically, down for Sandringham. Really good up and above, so with those aerial skills and great at finding goals in the VFLW this year. Very quick and agile for her taller size, which is great.
Yeah, this is a weird one because I remember watching draft night and this was like a shock. I remember that none of the sort of pundits thought that she would go that high.
Right.
But everything I've heard from the club, like pre-season and in the practice games and all that, she looks like she's going to be in the team in round one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
she looks
wow.
like she's been doing really,
She's ready
really
to
well.
go.
And like just been taken under the wing of Bonnie and
Yeah.
and Soph Alexander. But yeah, I think she's going to play, and I don't think anyone was expecting that pre-season.
Where was she playing in that preseason?
Up forward.
Okay, cool.
She also got some centre bounce stuff as a ruck.
Yeah,
So I
interesting.
think
Just kind of
potentially
rolling
we'll
her
see
through.
as
Yeah.
a
As
tandem
the second,
with Wales. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Which would be cool to see.
Yeah, cool. And then we have a very, very baby face in Amy Gaylor. She's part of the expansion team pre-signing from the academy. Came straight out of her Year 12 studies into AFLW. What a dream. Highest leap at combine. Highest rated for speed and agility. So she's really got that good movement. With 17-year-old knees, you'd want to hope so. Thought she'd done her ACL playing in her final year of junior footy, though. and then
it's a
went in
funny
for
story,
went in for surgery, and the doctor was like, "This is fine."
That's bloody crazy.
Could you imagine getting to the point of surgery
How does
and
that
they open
happen?
you up and they're like, "Oh, actually, no, we don't need to
it's
be
all
here."
good. How do they get it that wrong these
Yeah.
days?
Like,
I would have thought that was possible.
were they
but,
looking at the right knee?
Yeah.
Well, when she came out of surgery, she was still a bit drugged up, apparently.
Yeah.
And she said to her mum, "Oh, the doctor said it's actually okay." And the mum was like, "Oh no, that's crap. You must
Yeah.
did they look at the wrong knee? What's wrong? What's happening? You're still high. You're not
Yeah.
talking properly." But yeah, it's just
Just a
malpractice.
slightly torn
Yeah.
meniscus. It's just insane that you can get to that point and they're like, oh no.
But like they must have
You
seen
just
it for
like
an
tear it
MRI
just
or
to tap
something.
it back up again. Just
They
be like,
should be able
well,
to
may as
see
well be
that.
here while we're here.
The doctor saw the scans and said there was a 95% chance that she tore her ACL, but that 5%
Okay,
's come
either
up
he read
clutch.
that wrong or she is like superhuman at recovery.
Yeah, it just heals really quickly.
She's like, saw Nan Scorn and was like, I can beat that.
She's the gun of the draft crop,
Yeah,
so you'd
yeah.
expect her to play a lot of footy this year.
Amazing. Looking very forward to seeing all those girls run out. And New Year also means a bit of a change in our leadership as well. We still have Bonnie Toogood and Steph Kane as our co-captains, but we have a bit of a extended leadership rather than vice captains, things like that. We've got Sophie Alexander, Maddie Gay, and Bess Keeney in our larger leadership, replacing Jackie Vaught, Press-Parkis, and George Nan Scorn. Do we know that Sophie Alexander's nickname is Magic?
Yeah, that's been well public. Everyone calls
Have I
her.
just
you
like
hear-
I've never heard
lost
that, to
that
be
in my
honest.
brain?
if you like watch any of the stuff from training,
They call her Madge.
yeah, anyone saying Madge, they're talking about her. It's just
Right. I'm
Magic.
just like, I don't know who that is.
I think it came from. I could be wrong with this.
Yeah.
So like the club
Please,
may correct me.
please let us know.
But I feel like in our first ever game, she did this amazing snap, like falling
Right,
backwards. And I think it
right.
came after that. That like
Okay.
she's magic, because she was
Okay.
doing stuff like
Okay.
that. But I don't know. I was a bit shocked by the whole leadership group
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like Maddie dropping out.
Hmm.
I mean, like to be honest, I think she's a great what's the word? A great advert for like your best player isn't necessarily your best leader.
Yes.
I mean, maybe Bonnie's our best player, but like, she's top two easily one of
Yeah,
our best players.
yeah.
But like, she doesn't scream like leader. She's quite quietly spoken, still
Yeah.
very young,
Yeah.
despite how long she's been playing.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm all right with that
Yeah.
because there's clearly a lot of leaders around the club, and clearly Maddie Gay and Bess Keeney had huge sort of leadership qualities, and that's part of the reason why we got them. But yeah, maybe some of the older ones I was a bit more surprised by.
Jackie Vought's probably the one that I was a bit dumbfounded by.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's, I mean, it's all been voted on, right, by the players.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
if
there's gotta be
that's what
reasons.
they voted for,
Yeah,
that's,
and
there's
it's
gotta
like
be a
there's
reason for it.
this, you can still have leadership skills and still show to leadership without being named as a leader.
Yeah, for sure.
As well, like I can see George Nan Scorn, still being a leader within that midfield team, but without being, having to do the admin of
Yeah.
being a leader.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes, you're just like, I think I'm okay to just play footy.
Yeah, and there can be other reasons as well.
Yeah.
If players are like struggling with injuries and they just
Exactly,
need,
exactly, and just kind of want to like focus on themselves
Yeah.
and all of that. Anyway, shall we have a little look at our preseason where we defeated Geelong? Love that already. At Windy Hill, we had goals for Bonnie Toogood, Amber Clark, Daria Bannister. Good to hear. Good to see
how
Bannister
good is it
back
having it
in. Yes, and Soph Alexander.
I feel
How
like
did-
that was quite quick for
I did-
Bannister. I wasn't expecting her to be ready at the start
Yeah.
of the season. But I mean,
It's
like,
great.
obviously the off season's so long. But
Yeah.
I was kind of like preparing myself to not see her until like the second half of the
Yeah.
season. But yeah, it's so good to see her back.
Good to see her, and good to see that she had like a pretty ripper game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicked a great goal.
She's so good.
Yeah.
She's like, we missed her at the
Yeah.
end of last season when she got
Definitely.
injured.
Did either of you get to the game?
I did not.
No, me neither.
Yeah. Too
We're
early
doing
in the
well.
day for me.
Doing
I'll
well
excuse us
already.
for not going to a practice game.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. So what do we see? What anything of note that we wanted to shout out?
Something that I found interesting was that Amber Clark played almost purely as a small forward.
Oh, interesting.
Moving up from, she played predominantly wing, I
Wing,
believe,
yeah.
last year. But then, that being said, that Kearney then played on the wing. So I feel like
Right.
Amber's been moved forward to facilitate that.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's going well. She racked up 10 touches and a goal. So
That's
if you're
good.
getting that output week in, week
Yeah.
out, you'd be pretty thrilled. So
Because I feel like last season with Clarkie on the wing, it was like there was just that little bit of a disconnect, and just like she kind of had those repeated efforts of trying to get it up into that, that forward 50 or trying to get it onto that flank to get into a 50 entrance. And there was just something that was missing there. So hopefully, like her being able to push up a little bit will be that be more of that connect.
yeah.
I do like her around goals as well.
Yeah, she's very crafty.
But I did see, I can't remember what the article was, but there was something on the AFL app, and they had that Paige Scott goal against Richmond last year where Clarkie's running down the wing and just completely pushes the Richmond player out of the way, burst part. It was such a good goal. So I mean, like, you never know with preseason. Players get moving around, they try stuff. I'm sure she'll play all over the place. She's so good. But I do like her around goals.
Absolutely. And we're seeing Steph Wales with 19 disposals and 7 clearances. It's great for her in the mids there. And Mads with 25 and 7 tackles. Really good games from them. So good to see that they're kind of building on their strengths from last year too.
Yeah, I'm excited about Steph Wales this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I feel like, we've followed this team so closely since they started, and Steph Wales was one of those that, like, I don't think anyone expected her to be a first choice ruck in year one, because we had Georgia Borg, who got injured and never played and whatever. But she has been so good,
Yeah.
and she's like now in like the top sort of bracket of rucks in the league.
It's great.
And she's so young still, so like
still only like 21.
yeah,
right?
and she just gets so much of the ball, and like some of those games last year, she was like literally BOG. So yeah, I'm excited about her year this year.
I'm really
So
interested
good.
to see how she goes, because if Goffey does come in, I've just pulled
I mean, that's it. That's her nickname, isn't
sorry,
it?
Goff, if that isn't your nickname. But if Goffey does get some time in the ruck, then it is. I'm actually really excited to see if Wales then goes down forward, because she does get a lot of the ball. She's good at ground level, shown by the amount of clearances she gets. So it would be really, really interesting to see her get maybe 25% game time down forward.
Yeah,
or,
just be a bit of a tall forward. Yeah.
And
That'd be
especially with
really cool.
especially with how much we tend to move Bonnie around.
Yeah.
That she can swing back and all over the place. It really gives us another option if we have that second ruck and we can move Steph up and down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I did see in the AFLW news that Lucy Wales is missing opening round. And I kind of glanced at it and I was like, oh, shit, thinking that Steph and Lucy, like Killer and Lucy were the same. And I was like, oh, my God, which one is which? But she got slapped with a 1-game ban for striking. So,
What, in the pracky?
yeah.
Wow.
She caught Sydney forward Bella Smith high as she attempted to push away from her during the fourth quarter of the pracky. So she's missing first round.
Suck shit, Hawthorn.
Rip.
Sucks to be the Hawks.
All right, do we want to talk about our fixture? I mean, the fixture in general, Jesus. That round one, before we get into Essendon's one, the round one of the Western Bulldogs men's final being on at the same time as the Western Bulldogs women's game at Winton Oval is
Disaster.
ridiculous. It just same thing as last year, just setting it up to fail with the CBA.
Yeah.
With the agreement of if you get X amount of people at these games, we'll agree to XYZ. And it's just like, well, why? Apparently I've read, and I don't know how true this is, but I've read that apparently the Western Bulldogs really tried to fight to not have the games on at the same time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I can imagine.
It's
want
also
them.
their first game at Whitten Park.
Yeah.
Since the redevelopment.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
No.
It wouldn't make any
the
sense.
AFL's like, oh well, we can get 90,000 people at the MCG, and it's like, so
Yeah. The 6,000 that you need at each game for the season to be expanded, that 6,000 will be at the men's game.
exactly.
It's absolutely ludicrous.
They have shown a propensity to change things late though, which never happens in the men's. So you never know. There was some game for us I don't know if it was last year or the year before where there was huge pressure and they moved it. So
that is true. Oh, was that the Marvel game? Was it the move it to Marvel?
For the Essendon Hawthorn round one.
yeah, that might have been because that wasn't.
I think
that,
that,
that was
I think that
scheduled
was meant to be
Port or
somewhere
something.
else. Yeah, it was. It was meant to be at Port Melbourne.
I did also see in passing today that the derby between Fremantle and West Coast was going to be played at Optus, but is now played at some rather small town, shitty oval out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Silly.
just don't get it
Yeah.
sometimes.
And we haven't even talked about the midweek games yet.
No, exactly.
That could be the worst part of the whole thing, potentially.
Oh my god. Anyway, Essendon's fixture.
Why?
How-
hang on, sorry.
Here we go. All right, let's go.
Just to go back to the midweek games thing, I can't remember what the story was, but there's some reason why there's cramming an extra week.
Oh, they're doing a week A and week B thing. They're doing 2 weeks in one. I think it was.
but what's
But
the
why?
reason
I
for why they
can't.
have to
I
do
think
that?
it was so it finishes before summer starts because
Right.
everything finishes on like November 30th.
Yeah, but like,
So they're like, oh, we can't play in summer. It's like, I'm sorry,
We
the
played
weather.
in summer
yeah.
for like
The
10
weather
years.
doesn't. Yeah, we played in summer for like 2 years, but also the weather doesn't like suddenly go. Oh, it's December 1st, time to be 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what? It's oh.
Yeah.
It's so
Okay.
silly. So Essendon had to have a midweek game. I think it's about round 5 or 6
Oh,
or something.
cool.
It's against Sydney at Whitten Park at 7:15 on a Wednesday night. So not only is it not at Windy Hill,
Yeah,
it's
cool.
at Whitten Park.
I don't think they could play night games at Windy Hill.
It's-
think
No,
that's
the
a bit
lighting's
unfair.
still
Yeah.
probably not good enough.
Yeah, because all our night games always
Yeah,
get moved to
because there
Icon
are a few.
beforehand.
Yeah, so there's like a few. Like there's a Tuesday, round 5. Like Richmond Port is Tuesday night at Icon at 7:15. I'm just trying to find. Yeah, Whitten Oval in round 6 on October 2nd, which is a Wednesday, 7:15 against the Swans. Which
Who-
I'll be going to because I have friends
Yeah.
that are Swanee supporters. But yeah, it's I guess they're trying to maybe maximise the amount of Whitten Oval time
Yeah, maybe.
now that it's looking schmick.
Well, they probably just also think it's probably better for Essendon to play
Yeah.
home games at Whitten.
I mean,
than at
it's better than
Port
Hawthorn
Melbourne.
supporters that night playing the Suns at 5:15 p.m. in Frankston. So there's going to be about 3 people at that game, I reckon.
Don't catch the train. You might,
Not make it?
Yeah. You'll get there, but maybe not back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there are a few games, like teams that we're not playing this year, once again, because they haven't really extended it out. So we don't play Port Adelaide, GWS, Collingwood, Hawthorn, Geelong, or Brisbane.
And I think
Okay.
GWS are the only ones we've never played of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are playing North Melbourne this year, which
Yeah,
I'm
finally.
very
We've got
excited
dogs
about. Yeah,
and dogs,
and
yeah.
doggies,
Yeah.
yeah. And for our key games this year, we are playing Richmond against.
Against Richmond.
We are playing against Richmond for the Dreamtime match on 26th of October in Darwin,
Yeah.
which is really great. That's for the Dreamtime. And then we'll be playing the D's at Windy Hill 2 p.m. Friday for the grand final public holiday, which I will be hungover from my footy club ball. Great. We do love that.
Festival of
And-
footy.
Yeah, the festival of footy. But most importantly, this weekend, Saturday the 31st of July, I will be fucking somewhere over probably Indonesia, playing the Freo Dockers at Windy Hill. We're back to trying to fill the hill once again. I think, what was our record? Like 16? No.
I have no idea.
What was that record? They put it up on Instagram. Someone find it. Anyway, so
What,
we're playing.
attendance at the Hill?
Yeah.
Not 16. Can't fit 16, I don't think. 6
Not
maybe?
anymore. Probably 6. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not like back in the day.
Back in the day.
So we're playing against
As
the
that
Freo
guy
Dockers.
told me at Windy Hill last
That
year
one
about
guy that
pissing
time.
behind the goals at men's
Fucking
games in the
disgusting.
80s.
So the Dockers finished 13th last year with a 4-6 record and 72%. So they're in pretty poor form.
Yeah, and I think they might be worse this year, to be
Oh,
honest.
Rip.
They got injuries and they lost some players. And
Yeah, right. But they did bring in some players.
Yeah.
They've gotten some people over to the West Coast.
A couple of big names.
Yeah.
They've had to hit the trades pretty hard given some of the outs that they've got. But Ash Brazil from Collingwood, obviously great player. Ashley McCarthy, a turncoat from West Coast Eagles. I'm sure
Yeah,
she'll get a
but
big
they
reception.
lost the best name in football, Roxy Roode, to West Coast. That was that trade. But I do like McCarthy, actually. I thought
That
she
is
was
going to
great
be a
against
good
us.
derby then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And Gabby Newton from the Dogs as well, who's also pick number 1 from 2019, I think it was. So they've brought a bit of talent in.
Yeah. They are missing Kiara Bowers, though. She's so decorated, but she's pregnant, so not
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
Good on you and thank you.
Thank you and goodbye. And Stan, oh my
Stannett.
God, Stannett. She was a 2023 club best and fairest and newly named captain, and then
And not
did
playing.
and then did her ACL.
Did the
Before they
ACL
named her
before
captain.
the
Oh.
yeah.
She was named captain knowing she wasn't going to play. Which is, I mean, like we did.
It's like Nance Gorn.
Yeah, but she wasn't captain. She was like leadership group.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
different. That's
Yeah.
like, you know, being around the group, you know, all that kind of stuff. I get that, but yeah.
Yeah.
And they took it off someone. I can't remember who their captain was last year, but she's still there. So they took the captaincy
Oh.
off her to give it to an injured player, which is
That's a choice. Again, it might
Weird.
be like a, discussion there of being like, I don't want to do this again.
yeah.
Who knows? How'd they go in preseason?
Not too badly. Yeah, they played West Coast in a practice match, which doesn't mean much because West Coast are shit. They beat them by 56 points.
What's in the water over there? Just at West Coast, though. Like, what's in the taps?
Yeah, truly. The Mineral Resources Park, something is going on.
Yeah.
They're
Mate-
resourcing the minerals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
it's true.
need some minerals.
And then they actually did beat Collingwood in the proper preseason game, 45-15.
Oh,
in
okay.
Perth.
Oh, okay.
It was tight, and then I think they kicked about 4 or 5 goals in the last 10 minutes or something. So
Shit.
it looks a little bit kind of
Interesting.
a little bit makes them look a little bit better than they potentially were.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But also, like, if that's their kind of gameplay as well,
Mm.
to kind of like really charge it in that last quarter, wait until the other team's like absolutely gassed. That could be quite dangerous.
Especially after the travelling.
Mm.
They do have Sash favourite Anya Tai, who is a gun.
That's very true.
Ebony Antonio's back healthy after a knee and heart problems over the last 2 seasons, which is great for them. Quite a dangerous player, obviously capable of some really cool stuff. Won that goal of the year in 2022 for that dribbling snap from the boundary. So could see some really crafty work from her.
Yeah. She has been a superstar of the competition. Has
Yeah.
had some really, really unfortunate years. So it is nice to see her back. Hopefully doesn't do a fucking thing, but it is nice to see her back.
You never know, though. I mean, like, I completely agree. It's great to see her back because
Yeah.
she was a star, but like, it's such a long time between drinks. You really like some people come back and not
They
have
just
missed a
don't have the
trick,
sparkle.
but
Yeah.
some just won't have it anymore.
Yeah. Anything else we want to note about that game before we head into it?
A couple of names. Ashley McCarthy, obviously, who's one of their new signings, played pretty well. Haley Miller and Dana East also were in the best. So there's a couple of names to watch out for there.
Interesting. Some hard tags to put on. Do we want to do predictions early on? Or do we want to watch a game first?
No, I mean, like, we should be winning this one.
Yeah.
This. I mean,
Home game.
yeah, they're traveling.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they're going to be great this year. I don't think they're going to be like wooden spooners or anything. But
No.
but I doubt they'll make the 8, and
Yeah.
we should be. So
Yeah.
It's a game we have to win if we want to be at the levels we were at last year. Of,
Absolutely.
Of sneaking
Start
in the finals
strong.
and doing a bit of damage, hopefully, when we get there. But these are the games we have to lock in.
Yeah.
Lock in, definitely.
Absolutely. I'd be interested to see how we kind of go against some of those more like original sides because they
Yeah.
were such a big, we kind of just like immediately were like, oh, we're not going to win those. But it'd be interesting to see with the development of the side and bringing in a couple of people who have had, experience in those sides as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, it is still really that big 4 thing.
Yes.
But I do feel like this year I'm not as confident as I was last year that there's this massive gap
Yeah.
between 4 and 5.
Melbourne
Yeah.
have been raided pretty badly, so they might
Yeah.
slide a little.
I doubt. I mean, you never know with Brisbane Brisbane and Adelaide. I think like North are my pick for the flag. I
Yeah.
think they're going to be great.
Still terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think they'll be better than last year.
Yeah.
I think the other 3 won't be as good.
Yeah.
How much not as good?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Do we
But
know how much North have topped up from the VFL side? Have they picked anyone up?
they got what's her face from Melbourne,
Libby Birch.
Libby Birch,
Yeah.
Oh shit.
who's
Well, that was a good season, everyone.
But like that's what I mean. Like Melbourne have lost
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
some big players around there, and I think North have only gotten stronger. And,
Yeah.
it was really just experience that let them down last year. That they hadn't been up that deep before, but they have now, and their midfield and everything is just so good. So yeah, but like I think like us Geelong, Gold Coast, probably like.
Hawthorn have topped up a little bit. They might be a lot better than last year.
Yeah, they'd be hoping to get into the 8, but
yeah.
I reckon like us and Geelong, Gold Coast, maybe Sydney, maybe not, should be looking to try and beating an Adelaide, beating a Brisbane. I mean, we could have made top 4 last year if we
West
didn't
Coast.
drop that game to West Coast, and maybe the Gold Coast one as well. But we weren't a million miles off it.
It is a good sign. Obviously, we lost that elimination final to Geelong in Cardinia, but then beating them in pre-season. Obviously, it's only pre-season, but I do like seeing that we have beaten them. So there is signs of improvement.
Well, and we beat them in the season last year, which didn't.
Yeah,
make the
that's
final.
true.
Yeah, so
Out
like,
in Warnie,
like I think they're the most similar team to us in terms of where they're at. They're probably a bit more experienced, got a bit more players that have, a little bit older, a little bit wiser, but I think talent-wise, we're probably very similar.
Yeah. All right. Well, looking at round 1, what are our predictions? Who's our goal kicker of the game?
I think Bannister kicks 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked good.
I think she'll come back in hot. Yeah.
she'll be pumped and ready to go, I think, after a little spell.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon that. Yeah, I mean,
We can't do the same thing.
no, I know. But I couldn't go. I don't know. I can't go past Bonnie for these types of things.
Yeah,
That's very fair.
coming in, especially second season as captain. I think Clarkey might sneak a couple in. Actually, I'll go
Yeah.
Clarkey for 2, in her new spot. Who's best on for everyone this week? It's
Killer.
hard to
It's hard to
Killer.
know.
You
I
reckon
think she
Killer?
goes big. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
she's set for a massive, massive year.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so hard to know. So it depends
I
what kind of
know.
game it is. You know?
Exactly.
Like if we're well on top, it could be a forward.
yeah.
I mean, Maddie P is always a great shout.
That's a pretty
Bonnie
pretty
and press
safe.
markers. Oh, geez,
Pretty
Aaron.
safe.
Go out.
Pretty safe.
I
bet.
haven't seen them yet properly this year. Like, who knows what's going on? I don't even know where anyone's playing it. No, but like, if it's like a really
Yeah.
tight game
Yeah.
and like Ash Van Loon just murders on your tie and she can't get a sniff, then she could be best on ground. Like, I think Ash Van Loon is going to be like the nailed on
Yeah.
fullback, centre
Yeah.
half back. Like
Yeah.
she's going to take the big key from the other team. Like
Yeah.
she was already doing it last year, and she's a year older now, a year stronger. Like, I have no idea what kind of game it's going to be. Call me after round 1.
Okay, I won't. I think best on for me. I just have a good feeling about Nanscorn.
Nice.
I don't know. We also don't know who is playing. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't got the team list out yet. So,
Yeah.
and result and margin, obviously, like, I think we're going to win. But is it going to be by a lot, though? Or are they going to really come to the table?
I mean, I don't know. I doubt it'll be like a smashing
Oh,
because they're not
God,
that
no.
bad.
Yeah,
but like a few goals, 3
Yeah,
goals, something
yeah.
like that. That's
I would
what
say,
would've
like,
thought of that.
I usually do, like, so when I do my margin tipping, I just kind of like, if I don't know exactly or have like a good idea of it, I just kind of like let it scroll and then just drop a thumb. And I'm like, 13, sure, why not? So let's go 13.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. All right. What do we reckon? So looking at the season ahead, just generally, where are we thinking that we, like, what does success look like for Essendon Women's, and where are we hoping that we'll finish on the ladder?
Well, I mean, if we're using last year as a guide, I don't know if we were tipping we'd make finals. We wanted to be thereabouts,
Yeah,
on the cusp at least.
Yeah.
And we did make it, although we didn't win a final. But, that was unlucky with how our last couple of weeks shaked out. And
Oh, yeah.
getting Geelong in Geelong wasn't ideal. But, yeah, I'd be upset if we don't make finals.
Yeah.
And I'd be hoping
We
we
win.
make week 2
Yeah.
of the finals.
Yeah.
Either because we finished top 4 or because we won our first final, something like that.
Yeah. Success in that finals season will be
like
great.
we should be hoping to finish 5th or 6th. That's what I
Yeah.
reckon.
I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
I would love to see us take a big scalp too. I would love to see us. North Melbourne's probably off the cards, but beating a Melbourne or an Adelaide,
Yes.
or a
one of those, like,
we don't play Brisbane,
We
either,
don't play
but
Brisbane.
Yeah.
Beating Melbourne,
Beating
on
Brisbane.
Beating
Yeah.
Melbourne would
beating
feel
Melbourne will be
really good.
sorry, Broden. But we're coming for you.
Yeah, that would feel great.
Who are we looking at maybe being our, like, biggest improver on last year? Someone that's kind of coming up, like,
Yeah, I'm all about Mia Bush this
Bushy?
year. Yeah, because I reckon last year I would not have picked her to play like every game, which she did.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm quite pumped about what she'll do this year. She'll play back flank, but she's also like, Bess Keaney, really good user. She's not like uber quick or anything like that, but she also played like a lot taller than she actually is last season. I remember her taking like key position players, which was wild. But I reckon she'll be really good again this year.
Yeah. I think for me it's probably Scotty. Would like to see her kind of mature into her role a little bit more.
Kick on.
We did definitely see her trying to take a lot of those big specky marks. My heart of hearts tells me that she's locked that down in the off-season, thrown around a few sheep, figured out how to do it. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how much she kind of develops into her game.
Yeah, I mean, with her, it's all about consistency. 'Cause,
Yes.
like in terms of ability, she's off the charts.
Yeah, she's got the technique down.
Yeah, she just needs
It's
to
just that
like
consistency.
be putting in 7 out of 10s every week.
Yes. Yeah.
Where before she was like 9 out of 10.
And then a 3.
Yeah, exactly. So like if she could just be making consistency, she'll be one of our best players because
Absolutely.
she's that talented.
Yeah.
She's going to miss the first few weeks as well with a foot injury. So
Yeah, true.
if she comes in for the back 6 or the back 7, it becomes even more important that she really starts hitting her straps because when she's on, we are a much, much, much better team.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more cohesive as well. I think we're all kind of agreed that North Melbourne are probably going to win the flag this year, but who would win the spoon?
Probably
It's a bit rude, isn't it? Old wet toast coming in last.
I don't know. GWS are a shout, I reckon. Dogs are a shout. I mean, they were terrible last year, and I don't think that they added much.
Yeah.
And they've lost quite a bit as well. So yeah, maybe Doggies again. They were a bit of a surprise last year. I don't think anyone tipped them to be wooden spooners, but given that they were, and they've probably gotten worse. Yeah, I don't know. And I like the Dogs as well, so it's sad, but anyway, such is life.
I work with a girl who was pick 6 and has gone to the Dogs, and Elaine Grigg. I think she will be an absolute live wire. I see her kick the footy around the park sometimes, and it's pretty sick. So I think
Hello,
she'll
Elaine,
kick
if you're
a few,
listening.
a few stunners. Yeah.
Their kids are good, but they're like, they
Yeah.
just don't. I mean, it's like Ellie Blackburn, and that's it of like experienced players.
Ellie and the children.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's a building year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we teased it a little bit earlier. Obviously, Dan is not with us this season, but she might not be here, but she did give us one last gift, which is exciting. She went out to the hangar for the Women's Media Day to chat with a bunch of the players. So while I'm away, over the next couple of weeks, we'll be rolling out her chats with Amber Clark, Daria Bannister, George Nanscorn, and Steph Kane. So, it's not just you two bloody fighting it out over here by yourselves. Getting all bloody, I don't even know. I don't even want to know.
Depends how good we're going, I guess.
Yeah, true.
I've had to listen to the interviews, and they're very, very good.
Yeah,
so
we love Dan. So thank you. Yeah, thanks so much, Dan. We missed you so much already, and it's been not even a week. And while I'm away, I don't know. Do you want me to send you like voice notes?
I'd love that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Can I send one from the DMZ?
You can try.
Should I do? No, I don't think it's a matter of can I. It's should I send
not?
one from the North Korean border.
Yeah.
I'll try not to get thrown in jail.
Yeah, just
Yeah, just try and
You're watching
stay
What
it.
are you doing?
Watch-
I'm just recording a voice note for my football podcast.
just keep your eyes on the landmines and make sure nothing
Okay,
untoward
cool.
happens.
Avoid
You don't end
talking
up
about North Melbourne
straying.
and South Melbourne too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited to hear those chats. Even I haven't heard them.
I haven't heard them either.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
but
Yeah.
hopefully.
Thanks
yeah.
to the club for getting us down
Yeah, thanks to Celia and the club for sorting that out for us as well. And thanks to Dan for being available at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday
Yeah.
when we were all like, oh no.
A day or two notice too, I think.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's the media for you. But yeah, hopefully this season will be great. I'm really looking forward to it, even though I'm away for the first fucking 3 weeks or whatever.
We do need an antidote to that disaster of a men's year, so
We do. We do.
we need a brightened spirit in essence.
We do.
Absolutely.
I hope all the boys are enjoying their. I don't know. Some of them didn't even get to enjoy their Mad Monday. Apparently, they got bloody dropped at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I hope the beers were paid for the other players when they found out that they're
Yeah, I
not
hope Hindy got at least the rest of his beers paid for him.
He got ruined by Archie Roberts' form in the last month because
Yeah.
he came in and he was great, and I think they
Everyone's
just
like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, we can't have two of them.
Maybe a victim of the 1 year Menzies deal as well. If Menzies didn't get that deal, maybe Hindy would have. But
Oh, I think probably Tex is lost on that regard.
yeah, Tex was lost a while ago.
Yeah.
so sadly.
Poor Tex.
Yeah.
And I can never remember his name, but he looks like Shrek when he turns into a human.
Oh, Baldwin. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
Look at photos of him and look at photos of Shrek when Shrek's a human. I'm like, that's the same picture. Poor
I'm
thing.
not going to be able to unsee that.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. All right. Thank you so much for listening. You can go and sign up to our Discord, grab some merch, get some Go Planes, scarves, beanies, get into our socials, and we'll see you next week.
See you at the hill.
Up the planes.
Down the plains.